Hello, fellow Ambazonians. This one is a special midday edition from my daily podcast for una, a continuation from the last episode where we address the issue of legitimacy, the issue where we push for SCBC by the IG Care. They will bring up the issue for legitimacy following the imposition of the liberation tax. The Ambazonian Governing Council is the biggest, most popular, most effective, and has the biggest military footprint on the ground. With a proper command and control structure, its members and its forces are dedicated and committed individuals who have taken an oath to put Ambazonia, our flag, and our citizens ahead of any politics. The Ambazonia Governing Council is a pro-democratic movement, a grassroots movement that stands from the base and build it up, and that supports complete civil liberty for our people and economic liberalism and policy way to empower the economic sector of Ambazonia, the private sector for Ambazonia. So I will answer this issue, and once again, my country people, wait we did call am say legitimacy. I will talk am some more again before I continue for place I believe am. When they talk say a group get legitimacy, it mean I say they ask and say, who be you for talk on behalf of Ambazonia? Who be you? That one a question where it don't come up. Even time where John go Foncha, they will go for United Nations. A person where if he talk on behalf of all man, where they talk on behalf of a country, now a government, if he talk legitimately, that means a government get that right for stand up talk on behalf of all man. No man no fit, they no go take on in my opinion. If you now 1 year wait way la Republic talk na their government, if he stand up talk am, na their president if he stand up talk am. So wait to be the definition of a government, because some people they ask what a government they for Ambazonia. So one day they talk say, even though the Ambazonia Governing Council they talk say it no be na a government, but even the IG Care people they also talk say the Ambazonia Governing Council, because they get that name say government governing inside, it means that they be government too. So they talk say them too, them being a government, and they claim say that them be the correct government. So wait to be the truth, wait to not be the truth. The definition for government, now a group or an organization where them be recognized by the United Nations or members of the United Nations as being the people the way they get that right from their own population for exercise their power of sovereignty. That means their power of the state. Those people, this right it be exclusive to that group or person. So if it then talks say you been a government, it means say the United Nations and the member them for United Nations, they don't recognize you. Say now you be legitimate. That means say your population don't choose you. They fit choose you through election, direct election, or through indirect. That means say they vote their member them, then they member them for parliament, they can't vote you. Then you become their president, then you be recognized as such. Right now, there is no organization where our people they don't choose them through voting, and there is no organization where the international United Nations or members of the United Nations they don't recognize them. Say Naidi be the government for Ambazonia, where if he exercise exclusive right of sovereignty or representative for our country. So there is no government according to the definition where it be. Now, for the various groups them, where they for Ambazonia, now which one get the legitimacy for talk on behalf of Ambazonia? Our country people them, I will give you a clear example, make all money understand. If population they wake up, say they rise up, they want make protests. All that population, they no fit go represent the population where they rise, because them plenty. For example, if Ambazonia rising, 8 million Ambazonia then stand up, then say we want separation, we want independent. Now how will they go present themselves for the international community for do diplomacy or even for La Republic? They must organize themselves. They go choose people them among them. Now which kind of people then they fit talk on behalf of the group? The time where the people they rally for stand up for protest, people they go to stand up for stage for talk. They go to address the crowd. They go to talk, address the enemy, the international community and La Republic. They go talk. So man, he go stand up, he talk. People they go listen and they go talk. Say he already capture what you wait there for their heart. So the speaker way if he articulate very well, if he talk very thing way will for all money heart. Now that one way all the people they go to look up to for help them for talk. So that when they talk, say me one man he can talk on behalf of that crowd. Now that man if he really go there, go talk fine, and then they go believe certain way they talk him, he go reflect which way they want them. And if that man make agreement on behalf of all of them, they go easily agree because he reflect which way they want them. Now either way, the way they judge leader them, how way they talk, it show one way it be more effective for articulate which way the people then want them. For our assessment, all man, when I feel assess them for all kind way them, Dr. Cho Ayaba na the best way we get them so far. So now he be the legitimacy from a presentation them as well. And also a movement in terms of the financial support from the Ambazonia people them, it get the highest financial donation, direct donation from the Ambazonia people them. So that support itself now a vote for a legitimacy. And the thing where they talk it represent the vast majority when are independent. You get some people then where they want a federation, where they want one Cameroon. But their percentage be too small way if they turn up for that public talk, some people even take hand knock them day. So they no feel ready go stand up talk say they talk on behalf of the struggle. They no go get that legitimacy because they no go get that support and people no go listen for them. So the one way they represent the majority, the separatist movement them, now them be the leading organization them for talk on behalf of our people, the way they agitate, where they revolt, where they want fight for restore their statehood as an independent country, as it be done always be an international entity. For the various group the way they did for Ambazonia, now how this legitimacy will start. The legitimacy will start now with Harmony Bogba. When I be the common law lawyer, where we go for Supreme Court for La Republique, then go talk say he must talk put case now only for French. He come back, he gather all the lawyer them, then gather them, write later them for Pobia, he sign them. So now he be the first person where he be fit stand up, he start the problem. If he talk on this particular uprising. That way the other people then become the CACTU, the teachers union, the drivers union, then come together, then go for inside, then go make common law bar association, then vote elect president, then go for enter court, then deny them they no enter court for Bamenda, then decide for come now for we the population for come present the matter. When they present the matter, all man be need for rise up, people be the fear. The first man we turn up for talk for public for ground zero, it be a Mancho BBC. So it be capture people their heart, and it be somehow the legitimate leader also, together with the consortium, it can stand for make them official as a group of all the civil society them for present. And so those one they be the legitimate voices them for the struggle. But time where Cameroon it be ban the consortium, it declares say for talk about our right as a people or for organize ourselves like one group of people them. It be na a treason, na terrorism where they fit kill you. Then the leadership it come out of ground zero, it go hold a meeting with all the nationalist movement then now for declare say we want a separation. From then on, our people they be come out all for 2018 for September 20. They be rise up like one man, go for all their fund palaces them, go express this will, say which way they want them na independence. They no one make any man they go represent them again, like parliamentarian or whatsoever for inside La Republique, a stop of political participation. For that time, the population it give their mandate, their d'accord, say which way they want them na separation. For 1st of October, we Siseko he come, he reiterate the independence will be declared for 1999 December 31 by Justice Adobwele, and where it be also reiterate the restoration law way from Godidinka it be invoke them. Then we make the name for our country as Ambazonia. It be come for the population be rise up for that 1st of October for receive them. It also shows that they don't give their mandate for independence. At that time, the group where it be the control, where it be the leading group, it be na SCACUF. SCACUF it be na a joint platform, that means a united platform, where we bring together all the nationalist movement. Nationalist movement, it means that the group them where they be believe in independence long time. them all become together. You will get Maurice, you will get the Ambazonia Governing Council, you will get the SCNC, you will get all the BB group them, and some Ambazonian personality like Carson Anyangwe. They become sign book together with the civil society. That means the consortium for agree say make all our interests for our people the way them be in within they speak on behalf of our people them as one people, as a nation. Me them form this one group, SCACUF. For that founding document, they be agree, say that member them when they can create that SCACUF, they go be like overseer, they go be like shareholder for company, and then they go choose one man make it be like manager, it begin run their affair, it could help them. That means it could be na their boy, then go still remain like patron, and if that man he want take any decision, he go must come back for them. The first person where they be choose them as Secretary General, it will be na Dixon Tassan Wilfred, where he be also be na the head for the consortium at that moment. So na he be the leader for the liberation, as he be the represent all the various people the way they stand for which way the people the way they be the rise up the one time when na independence. So na he be the legitimate leader. He be the get too much fight with some people them for mainly from South Africa, where they be one for movie for take power, because now people then where they be done engage in power struggle before for SDF. You get the Milton Taka, you get the mainly the main person it be na Atta Milan. These people them they be succeed for move Tassan Wilfred like Secretary General through a political maneuver where they be succeed, and then them bring in Seseko, make he can be the new Secretary General or chairman for SCACUF. So Seseko he will become the leader where he will represent the groups them where they create SCACUF for talk on behalf of our country, Ambazonia. But Tanwe Seseko, they no be they get their way together with Milan in terms of their policy, then decide for go on their own. Instead for them for follow the law where they be write them for SCACUF, then decide say they go transform them into a government without the authorization as it be for the law for that government. So the group them where they be create that SCACUF, they become for Nigeria for meeting, for that Zaria meeting where it take place in Zaria. Seseko it denies say me the people they no enter for the. He talk say them bring your own new people the way I picking them where they call them say country head. This country head them I be me Capo Daniel I be a delegate where I represent one of those constituents them. You know be being a people the way they don't elect them. Less than 1% of them be being a people where they elect them, but they become the represent now the followers of SCACUF, because for the various country them you be get other Ambazonian groups them, but they be one for misrepresent themselves like they represent America. America be give 5 people, we for China we be give 1, the one for Europe, and all those people they no become for the as a matter of suffrage. That means say any Cameroon Ambazonia group be get the right for come for they become on invitation on the premise say you could pay $2,000. So the delegates did not represent ground zero. They did not represent a suffrage. That means say all Southern Cameroonian them for that election. Siseko if it stand for the floor, if it talks say they want to own picking them, they go create with them one time, and they will go ahead for create change SCACUF into his own private group now, because it will be against the constitution for SCACUF, the founding document for SCACUF, and it be accepted that way it be. So is this the IG what it claims to be, a unified faction? No. All the members the way now they be create SCACUF, they don't dissociate themselves and they need to participate for the. So they no fit talk say them be a representative for other groups them. Even though some of their members they claim so, and they even talk say other group they need to dissolve because they don't create that joint platform. No. Now they don't broke law. So them be illegitimate. Now either way the other group they be always talk say Siseko be legitimately appointed as the leader. So he be a contested leader. The other nationally group them they be continue their own activity as the SCACUF unity it be down fail, and the IGBB considered like a group, but them begin continue for misrepresent themselves, said them being a joint platform where no money no be there for the, and said them being a government where be elected by Ambazonian people, but there was no election there by Ambazonians. It was just a group of friends of Siseko or supporters of Atta Milan who represent just their group, his following in countries that elected Siseko by nomination, by acclamation as the president, and a cabinet member. A cabinet member, as a matter of fact, there be plenty past the delegate where they represent the various country heads, then where they be there for the country heads, they will be less than 10%. Even though illegitimate according to SCACUF law, the IG group it be recognized as a group on its own by the other member, then way they be create SCACUF, and they treat them as such. But the law we create the IG group, I be one of the people where they be write the law. If he makes it that mandate for the IG group, the head it be been for Siseko and nobody else but Siseko. So the transformation or the splinter IG group where they claim say that them be the correct IG group, they not be so according to the laws of that IG group. So you get an illegitimate creation having given birth to an impostor that claim to represent the illegitimate group. So who in terms of legitimacy is the IG group legitimately created according to their own standard? No. But do they have legitimacy to speak for the interests of Ambazonia? Yes, they do. Are they effective? No. Why? Because it is based on a faulty foundation. What about the Ambazonia Governing Council? The Ambazonia Governing Council will be created by constituent members of their group. It get over 38 different missions them across the globe, and it being the biggest force on the ground, and it get legitimacy. It act on behalf on the interests of our country. Is any group more legitimate than the other in terms of the rights to represent the interests of our people? All groups are equal. But in terms of influence, like you see the World Bank record, it talk about influential group. Of course, one group is more influential than the other. The leading group of our struggle right now is the Ambazonia Governing Council. That is the biggest group. You have the biggest military footprint on the ground. It has the highest support of Ambazonia, both financially and on the ground. It has created schools, it has built the military, and it is actually fighting for the liberating and collaboration with other groups. The splinter IG group also have a large loyalty of forces on the ground, but it has a loose command and control structure that have permitted infiltration within the ranks of our forces that have resorted to the commission of war crimes. As you have seen the case in Ekondo Titi, those are things we cannot deny. You cannot claim that you are fighting for Ambazonia and then you cover up war crimes. You can't do that. That is not something any genuine person can do. What about Maurice? Yes, Maurice too na a legitimate group. It be founded properly. The foundation is strong, but many of the members they be down come out for day because it be down stop activity to liberate Ambazonia. One, the main front for Maurice it be been a Bohebeti Ambazonia calling. It don't stop them. Second, there never be any convention of a member them or any election or for renew the mandate of its people them. The most important, now a military confrontation now wouldn't have a war. Maurice do not own an army and they do not support war according to Bo Herbert, Wade and Tockham. It the same apply for many other groups them, but they are still part of those voices that speaks for independence, and they can speak definitely for the interest of our independence. They are definitely stakes, though with various level of influence. What about the splinter IG group? Yes, they are impostors, but they are still recognized as a faction, even though it's highly infiltrated, but they are still considered a faction. But their base is weak. They don't have any legitimacy. They are making up things. They are claiming things that are faulty. You cannot build any strong credibility by misrepresenting yourself. For example, Sako claims say they be votee, but the record it shows say the IG election they be vote na Chris Ano instead. Now the cabinet be just turn around things for change the election result for give Sako a chance. Sako the claim say be na president, but the law for the IG group where we create them, if we talk say the position we be na acting interim president. The same thing goes for Siseko, who be vote Siseko not be like president for Ambazonia. He was the acting the interim president, with the hope, say, when we go for Boya, we go install, we go create the real transitional government at that point. So he's also misrepresenting himself. It is on the record. I was part of the vote. I was one who actually suggested that a vote be made. So he is not voted as a president. Anybody who claims to be government for Ambazonia is not a government. They are misrepresenting their organization and giving their members a false sense of entitlement that can only be destructive and cause more infighting. So for the question of legitimacy, the Ambazonia Governing Council, it get legitimacy for represent the interests of our country and for talk on behalf of our country. And it's supposed to lead any negotiation, and according to their policy, it will be an inclusive negotiation. We can only negotiate as a people. There is already high-level negotiation within the United Nations that are engaged by the Ambazonia Governing Council. They have the biggest lobbying group, OMPO, and a leader who is the only one who have launched the organization, its defense wing on the ground. It has a clear command and control structure. It has its ethics. It has its conduct. Their generals have sworn oath and remain in formation. None of them have contradicted their command chain, and it remains the most effective organization to prosecute our war and is leading by action. They can be responsible for secure Ambazonia, the European Institute of Peace, as a mediator, even though it will be sabotaged. They can secure for Ambazonia recognition for our right of self-determination by a European Member of Parliament in the Basque region, where they get a representative for the European Union, where it can be very instrumental for help debate and shape our policy then within the European Union. They don't help for secure arms route them for the black market for within Biafra. We don't help for supply Ambazonia. They don't introduce technologies for IED. They don't also facilitate the transfer of such technology and such equipment to other forces within the ground and in the black market. They are the group that call for collaboration. They stand for collaboration, unlike the splinter IG group that have declared all groups banned and is declaring civil war with other groups. The IG of Seseko has become a shadow of itself, and the military for a long time is needless to say, but they are best in supporting refugees, and it is a very important part. They have tried their hands also in self-defense, seeking projection through the group in Mavas, but the group in Mavas is still a loose group in terms of command structure, out of their realm of command, their grip of command. But it is a legitimate group. It has a recognized leadership of Dr. Seseko Ayoktabi, where he be in jail, and it be an effective group as well. But nevertheless, in terms of influence and in terms of leading the actions that confronts La République both diplomatically and militarily, the Ambazonian Governing Council is a leading organization and can lead Ambazonia into any negotiation because they are credible, they are well articulate, they are highly trusted. So my country people, do not worry and do not be despair for people who raise these questions to undermine. They don't raise to provide answers. They don't raise to push the struggle forward. They do so because of their misguided sense of entitlement that is just wrong. Their credibility is shaken. This one I agree with. They don't apologize for the enemy when we launch a war. When the Ambazonia Governing Council launched a war for Ground Zero, it was the Seseko IG that wrote a letter to La République to apologize for the attack against their military and actually try to even tag the ADF as a terrorist group for attacking La République military. Today, they are also claiming to be in self-defense, something they have rejected before and condemn and even extend apologies and condolence to the terrorist Cameroon forces that were killed. So today, when we launch the liberation tax, the same group came out to call it kidnapping for ransom. It is not different from what they have always been doing. They are just opportunists that claim to be something they are not, and they try to impose it on others, even when it goes against our national interests. They are not putting the national interest first. It's a group that just believe in Siseko and Siseko being the president and them being the ministers and whatsoever, and they put that ahead of our national interest. Nevertheless, they are patriot and they have a great heart for Ambazonia. They want Ambazonia to be free, but they are just delusional individuals, and they have to come to the reality. If they want a debate, we can have a proper debate on substance, and if they have a good case, they can make that good case for Ambazonia to be the judge. God bless you all.